One of my favourite films outside of the Spider-Man series has always been Deadpool. I don't think it's a massive misstep to say that giving somebody creative control over a project and not having the studio step in pretty much makes a good movie. And it made me really excited to see the Deadpool film that was coming out July 26th. But as I have a video planned about making Marvel sets over on Tommy C. Bricks, you can bet with Deadpool 3 being such a hype film that I wanted to make something from that. And that of course requires the minifigs to do that. But here's the thing about Lego and Deadpool. They don't like each other very much. At least it seems that way. Now, if you didn't know, when the Marvel theme first started with X-Men sets, I don't know what Lego designer managed to get Deadpool in one of the sets, but they did. But unfortunately, we haven't seen an official version of Deadpool since 2012. Yeah, we've had the Comic-Con figures in 2017 and 2018, and this is unfortunate because the only way of getting yourself a Deadpool figure these days is to buy one off of Bricklink. And obviously, the Comic-Con figures are so far out of reach, and the normal Deadpool figure, even then, is $50. And that's really annoying because I really think Lego are hesitant to put him in future sets. Mark Stafford even said that he pitched him for the Daily Bugle set, but unfortunately it was rejected, probably due to the fact that Deadpool is just such a vulgar character. But this got me thinking, especially because Wolverine's in the next film, how much of a moneymaker this could have been for Lego. And although I think there is definitely ways to make these figures out of the existing ones, unfortunately even the best Wolverine we've ever had, the one from the CMF, is nowhere near close to the one that we see in Deadpool 3. So I think using the X-Men 97 version of Wolverine to try and make the Deadpool 3 version of Wolverine just isn't going to cut it. And as for Deadpool, the one from 2012 was pretty good, but as the Deadpool from the Deadpool movies is an updated design, and the one in the Lego set was based on the comic version of Deadpool, not to mention the quality of minifigures back in 2012 is significantly different to the quality we see today, I think a new Deadpool figure would look extremely different to this. There have even been some videos by my friend Mini Superheroes Today combining the Comic-Con versions to make the best version of Deadpool possible. But believe it or not, this is actually more expensive than going down the customs route. And speaking of which, there are a couple of custom companies making these types of figures, but the ones I want to show off today are the ones made by Jackabrick. Now the reason I want to show you off these ones is because I've had many Jackabrick figures in the past and I know they've been really decent. Plus they also agreed to send them out for me to show off to you guys in this video. Now this video isn't sponsored by Jackabrick and they haven't paid me to say anything. My opinions are of course still my own, but they did send these figures out free of charge, so make of that what you will. Now this is sold as a duo pack of Deadpool and Wolverine, and just cracking Wolverine out of the box to take a look at, you can immediately see that this is an extremely detailed minifig. But if you ask me, Jackabrick are quite good at matching Lego's style, so although the 3D elements for some might be a little bit much, the figure immediately screams high quality and CMF standards for me. Comparing the minifigures to screenshots that we see from the trailer, they near enough got it bang on to what I think Lego would make. The torso detail is just the right amount of detail if you ask me, simplifying a few things to match that Lego style, but creating this new iconic Wolverine outfit that we see in the film. And that torso printing continuing directly into the legs. These sort of dark yellow lines giving the suit a bit more definition is a really cool touch, and those blue and black accents giving this figure that real X-Men look. Not only that, like the CMF that released a while ago, this figure sports side leg and arm printing, but one of the main things I want to talk about is the head. The likeness comparison to Hugh Jackman is insane if you ask me, and it's little things like this that I think Lego should definitely be doing, making minifigures more unique to the actors that are playing the character. If you ask me, I think it's okay to make comic book characters' faces a bit more generic so you can use them across multiple themes, but when we're talking about actors that we see on screen playing characters like Chris Pratt and Robert Downey Jr., making the minifig look almost like the actor is more beneficial, as it just makes the minifig feel like it's got that little bit of extra quality put into it. And that's exactly what I think Jacka have done here with this Hugh Jackman face print, and not to mention that you get 3 other heads in this set, which also look insane. So not only do you get a frowny / neutral face, but you also get an angry face that looks like it's been taken right out of the trailer. But on top of that, you also get these 2 faces with mask variants so you can put the cowl on. Now yes, this figure does come with a cowl, and although we don't see a cowl in the trailer, I'm sure it's going to be in the movie. And displaying the figures this way, if you ask me, looks amazing. And speaking of Deadpool sets, how would you like to get your hands on an official Deadpool figure? Well, I'm giving away one, as well as a bunch of Marvel sets, over on my latest Whatnot stream that's happening August 16th. Now, if you don't know what Whatnot is, it's a live auctioning app that I can live stream on and sell some of my personal collection. Think of it almost as a mix between Twitch and eBay. And this coming weekend, I'm going to be doing a Marvel specific one so you guys can try and get your hands on some awesome Marvel figures, including some Daily Bugle figures that have featured on my channel, Marvel CMFs from Series 1 and 2, and this really rare Tobey Maguire Spider-Man from the original sets. And not only that, the best part is that most of these guys start at just $1. I have several streams planned for the coming weeks, including a Harry Potter and Star Wars one, where I'll be giving away a bunch of stuff there as well, so make sure you go and follow me over on Whatnot using the link in the description below. Head over to my account and make sure you're bookmarking my stream. Not only that, make sure you're using my link in the description below, because if you do, you get yourself a free £10 that you can use on my stream or anybody else's stream that you find over on Whatnot. Can't wait to see you guys August 16th, 7 PM BST, and thanks Whatnot for sponsoring this video. But speaking of Deadpool, here is the one we're speaking about today, and if I'm honest, I I think I like this one more than I like the Wolverine figure. The new suit is absolutely fantastic, and I think this LEGO representation really matches the film. It being printed on this really nice bright red and black make me think of that original LEGO figure as opposed to the 2016 version of Deadpool, which I've bought customs before, and as you can see this one was printed on a dark red to make it more like the film. The suit in Deadpool 3 is considerably brighter, and I really like that they've gone with that bright red to match. Speaking of which, the details on here are immaculate. Loads of crisp lines, and I don't think it necessarily steps into that over-detailedness that a lot of people have problems with in customs. I know some people will have a problem that is printed on the inside and the back of the legs, because if you didn't know, LEGO just don't have the technology to do this on a mass scale, but it's like I always say about customs, so long as they can fit in with regular LEGO figures, I tend to give them a pass. The only thing I think people will necessarily have a problem with on Deadpool is the magnetic scabbard. Obviously putting magnets in the torso is never something I think LEGO is going to do, but it does get rid of that nasty neck elevation that most minifigures have when they have a scabbard piece or a back attachment that, if you ask me, make minifigures look super ugly. But one thing I don't think people are going to mind are the multiple heads that are included in this pack, basically giving you any facial expression that Deadpool makes throughout the films, including a Wade Wilson head, which if you ask me looks a lot like Ryan Reynolds in the makeup, and obviously the multiple weapons that Deadpool does come with. Now yeah, these weapons don't exactly look like how LEGO would make them, as LEGO tend to make swords and guns with only one colour and make them a bit more rounded and simple, but I think if LEGO were to step up their weapon game, this would probably be the direction they'd take it in. Obviously I don't see LEGO making realistic guns anytime soon, but it's nice to get some included here. Now I don't think this would be a fair review without talking about some of the negatives of these figures, and I want to start by talking about the hands. Now the hands are custom molded hands, they're not official LEGO at all, and this normally would be fine because they have to print on the hands, and if you didn't know, printing on LEGO hands is just very difficult for some reason. And although they look really good, especially the Wolverine ones with the molded claws directly on the hand, instead of the usual LEGO claw piece, which I don't really like, unfortunately it does mean that the tolerances on the hand are slightly different than LEGO's official hands, so people can run into issues. And speaking of tolerances, I mentioned this in my Spider-Man video, but giving replacement arms, although might seem cool, you can't replace the arms too much, otherwise the arm connection becomes really weak. And that's a shame, because both arm variants in this case are really good, even having the 3D molded elements on the sleeved arms, which I know some people might have a problem with as it steps out of the bounds of minifigures, but if I'm honest, I really like it. But I do think for me in this case, I'm going to use the sleeveless arms. One, because I want it to look more consistent with other minifigures in my collection, and two, I think he's going to rock this look for most of the film anyway. I wish instead of giving separate arms, they would just give a completely new torso, just so I could swap the torsos when I wanted a different look, so I don't have to worry about the integrity of my minifig, but I also understand that this would make the figure more expensive. And unfortunately, I think that is the nail in the coffin for most people, the price. Obviously, with all custom figures, this will be subjective. These are very high-end, high-quality customs, and they do have a lot of R&D that go into them, and that is effectively what you are paying for. Both of these figures in a pack are $200. And although, like I say, these are collector's items, I know that will be a deal breaker for most. Now, do I think that Deadpool will ever appear in another LEGO set? Unfortunately, probably not. I just don't think it's something that LEGO want to touch. But do I think all hope is lost for getting a Deadpool figure? No. With the Marvel CMF being such a popular CMF among LEGO fans, as it's some of the only ways we get leg printing on our Marvel characters, especially with Series 2 diving heavily into the multiverse saga, I do think if LEGO are going to make a Deadpool, it will be included in one of these. And the best part of it most likely being included in a CMF is that's going to give us the best Deadpool figure that we can possibly get. It'll probably have arm printing, side leg printing, and probably some sort of accessory, whether it be another head, with Wade Wilson's face print on it, and honestly, I think would look very similar to the figure we looked at today, minus the swords. If you did want to take a look at the account that made these, I'll link Jack a Brick in the description below. I know they have Ladypool and Dogpool on the way in case you missed out on these ones, but what I'm most interested to hear from you guys is, would you want Deadpool 3 sets? And would you be happy if they only included Deadpool in a CMF? Let me know what you think of these figures in the comment section below. Don't forget to head over to Whatnot to bookmark my stream, using that link in the description to bag yourself an extra £10 to spend on mine or anybody else's stream. For those who have seen the film, let's keep the comment section relatively spoiler free, and if you haven't seen it yet, here's another set of Marvel figures that I think that LEGO are really missing out on.